here with us to tell us more about how customers can benefit from the combined forces of T-Systems and VMware and how they can easily keep up with the competition is Commercial Chief Officer of T-Systems, François Flutiot. Hey, François, how are you doing?
Good. How are you, Tim? You seem in good spirits today.
I mean, I had a lot of coffee, so I'm hyped. And joining us from VMware is Chief Technology Officer Joe Beckley. Hey, Joe.
Hello.
Hey, Joe. How are you doing? Are you excited for day 2?
Hey, Joe.
Yeah, I pretty much am. Thanks very much. Like you, I've just had a whole bunch of coffee, so I'm ready to go.
That sounds good. I mean, I cannot wait for your talk, so I guess it's time for me to say goodbye. Take it away.
Okay, thank you very much, Tim.
See you later, guys.
Thank you. Hey, listen, hi, everybody. I hope everybody's safe and well settled for this conversation. Joe, I hope you're doing fine and ready, and if okay with you, I will kick this off.
Cool, let's go.
Okay, listen, we're starting this this second day with our partnership with VMware and what all of this means in the cloud journey. And what I wanted to start with is talk about our partnership and the fact that we've been building solutions for our clients in the last 15 years. I wanted to give some interesting data points. The first one is we manage today 65,000 virtual systems running worldwide on VMware platforms, serving more than 600 clients, be it on-premise, bespoke cloud solutions, or on our TSI private cloud. Many of our clients would know about our joint development of what we call dynamic compute services that we started in 2006 and that evolved into our private cloud offering. And our joint development of dynamic compute services for SAP that we started in 2012 has resulted into TSI becoming the world's largest SAP hosting provider with more than 900 terabyte of HANA instances managed in our DCS centers, which is also around 7 million SAP users globally. So we've achieved a lot to date. Now, what I wanted to do now is, Joe, a little bit ask you for those, and I imagine that there are very few, but to reposition a bit VMware, re-explain a bit the strategy of VMware today, and introduce a bit the company as it proceeds. Joe?
Yeah, that'd be my pleasure. I mean, hopefully with over 500,000 customers worldwide, most people know who VMware are, but I don't think everyone knows who VMware is, which is what I'm talking about in terms of our strategy. And thanks, Francois, for giving us a chance to talk about it. Our strategy now for many years has been based around the concept of any. We talk about the any plan. And that really is that we are trying to build a system or building a system that enables our customers to run any application type on any cloud and deliver that securely to any device. And that's a clear and stated mission. And we've brought that together in various forms over the years, but ultimately now it's built out of our multi-cloud foundation, which is VMware Cloud Foundation, which allows you to run in any public cloud. And that's really important because we now have that cloud foundation running in over 4,500 public clouds globally, including T-Systems, and including the hyperscalers, which I'm sure we'll get to in a bit. Yes. At the same time, the any application piece is our modern application modernization story with Tanzu. And that's very much enabling our customers to modernize their applications to cloud native constructs using such things as Kubernetes, service mesh, et cetera, and integrating with their CI/CD pipelines. Then on top of that, we're building that's all built on top of our virtual cloud network. Our virtual cloud network, it expands to include obviously our virtualized networking, but that now expands including SD-WAN to SASE, Secure Access Services Edge, and other solutions. That's then all brought together and delivered through our end user computing solutions, our digital workspace. And that digital workspace enables our customers to consume applications securely on any device anywhere. And running through all of that is intrinsic security. For us, security is at the heart of what we do. And we truly believe we're the only vendor that can provide customers with that end-to-end security footprint. We're also probably a very different VMware from the VMware most people knew in sort of 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. We're now 35,000 employees. We've got over $10 billion worth of revenue. I can't tell you our last financial year because we just closed that out. We haven't announced our results yet. I'd get fired if I started talking about that. But the important thing here, and the reason why I'm here today with T-Systems, is for us, our partner ecosystem is the most important piece of our business. Our business in Europe especially is led by partners. It is, by far, over 90% of it is led, transacted, and built through and with partners. And I think as we look forward, as customers go through modernizing their application portfolio and suites, working with partners such as T-Systems and ourselves at VMware is a really, really good way to make sure that they're going to be successful and have openness and choice as they do that. So at the bottom line, our partner ecosystem is what's built us and is the key part of our future.
Thank you, Joe. That's a lot of information on VMware and a portfolio that has grown through times. It's really exciting. Let me turn a little bit to what's happening in the market. We've discussed a lot yesterday that demand on businesses to continually innovate and reinvent themselves has never been higher. And you know that the COVID crisis has only accelerated this, right? Most of the industries have been hit super hard, hit on revenue, and they now need to restructure their cost base and accelerate digitization if they want to differentiate versus competition. So what I think would be interesting is what is VMware, your view on how the market is evolving and our clients' requirements to stay in the game?
Yeah, it's very interesting how that has evolved and changed over the recent years, and especially in the last 2 or 3 years. The conversation has now changed dramatically with our clients. We've gone from having conversations around infrastructure to moving through to conversations about platform and now conversations about applications. And so our conversations with customers now are led by what we sort of call application portfolio planning. It's not about what's next for your infrastructure, it's about what's next for your applications. And looking at those applications across the board, every application a customer's got, and thinking through, okay, what's going to happen with each of these? What's the 3-year, 5-year plan for every application that's essential to your business? Do you leave it where it is? Do you rehost it? Do you migrate it to the cloud? Do you rewrite it to the cloud? Or do you just drop it and turn it into SaaS? There's lots of options. And really what we're doing with customers is helping them with those choices and providing those choices to them as they do that. At the same time, one of the questions I like asking now of CIOs when I go to see them is why. Before they used to say, oh, I'm moving to the cloud. We're all in with the cloud. And I'd go, oh, that's great. Fantastic. That's what everyone's doing. Now I'm kind of like, why? What's the reason you're going to cloud? Because we're seeing a lot of people sort of almost going to cloud because they think it's the right thing to do. And when you actually drill into it and start saying, okay, well, actually, you really want to go to cloud because it's faster, because it's cheaper, because it's more secure, because it gives you more flexibility or scalability. Let's talk to you about what we can do to help with that, and maybe how T-Systems and VMware together can help you achieve that, rather than deciding you're going to go and put everything all in on one cloud. Because actually, what we're seeing our customers do is realize that the world is about a multi-cloud future rather than going and picking one particular cloud, moving everything to that. At the same time, we're seeing CIOs under massive time to market or time to change. It's increasingly deciding the pressure between sort of business success or failure. And that's definitely been a case in COVID. We've been stepping in, not just helping people work from home. That's a pretty obvious one. Our workspace solutions have been dramatically useful there. But people have had to scale up their web operations. If you're in e-commerce, you've suddenly had to have 10 times as many people coming to your website. How do you deal with that? How do you scale that up and meet that need? How do you flex to delivering applications to any device anyway, not just secured devices on your corporate LAN? So this has again just driven a CIO's agenda to put pressure on cloudifying everything they can, But what we're really here to do with partners like T-Systems is to sit down and talk them through that so that they can do that in a pragmatic and managed way. Where are you going to? What percentage do you need moving by when? What are the drivers behind that? And making sure that all the customers are aware that through our partnership, there's a very broad choice of options that customers can have as to where they go with this. Not only do you have on-premises, which is still great for lots of people, and in fact, we see a lot lot of customers now expanding on premises because they found for certain workloads they can do it cheaper than in the cloud, or private cloud such as FCI, or moving to a hyperscaler. But actually what they're finding is it's going to be a blend of both. And if you're going to be blending all that together, you need expertise and tools that allow it to be blended in a way that gives you consistent operations and allow you to still have management of security and risk as you do that.
Yep, and Joe, I think what we're seeing with the COVID is that clients are now understand that what needs to go to the public cloud needs to go fast, really fast, so that they can leverage it and innovate from there. But there are many of their apps that still will need to stay on premise or on private clouds for a number of reasons that you mentioned. So we are definitely in a hybrid environment, and that's what we need to work out with the clients, right? So
yeah, and I think people need to understand that the future is about choice, and it's not about, cloud is the next platform. There's this assumption that everything in IT moves from one platform to the next, to the next, to the next, and that's what we do. We take it from mainframe, we move it to Unix, we then move it to Linux, we then virtualize on x86, and then we're going to move it to cloud. That's not the case now. Cloud is just adding choices to that. And talking about market trends, Francois, sort of, on those trends and T-Systems, your new public cloud first strategy, you've announced a new strategy to the market and respond to these trends, right? So could you elaborate a bit more on your new strategy? It's my turn to ask you questions now. Can you outline how VMware sort of will fit into that?
Well, yeah, listen, Joe, thanks for giving me the opportunity. I'm going to make a quick summary, which is basically recapping a bit what we've discussed yesterday and what we will continue to discuss. So our strategy is very clear. We basically want to partner and co-create with our clients on their journey into a modern, secure, and resilient digital environment. And of course, our partners will also help us to drive this co-creation with our clients. If I break this down into, let's say, 3 pillars. Number 1, we are a multi-cloud enabler and operator for our clients. This is what we've talked about yesterday. We're fully engaged in supporting our clients to leverage public clouds. But our value proposition is hybrid cloud. T-Systems acts as a multi-cloud enabler with our cloud migration framework and the future IT suite that we elaborated on yesterday. And we also operate their mission-critical applications on the hybrid cloud environment. And for that, we have a comprehensive portfolio. We can operate on-premise, we can operate private, of course, and we operate already now a number of public cloud environments by partnering with all of the hyperscalers, but also VMware. And we'll elaborate a bit more on this, why we continue to think that VMware is such a massive player, and firstly, because of the installed base of all of our clients right now on VMware, and how they can enjoy a seamless path to the hybrid cloud. And by the way, just to finish on that first pillar, we are also a founding member of Gaia X. We're deeply involved in topics like data sovereignty, which we'll discuss during the day, and open European cloud initiatives, for example, in the automotive space or in the public sector. Number 2, we are a digitization enabler for our clients, meaning what we say, powering applications on the cloud. And I'll just give a simple example that most of our German partners and clients would know about is, Joe, that we developed the German Corona Warn app. We developed it, Deutsche Telekom, with SAP in a very agile, very quick manner, and it today has 25 million citizens on that app. That is what we want to do for our clients. And the third pillar, of course, is security. Security is a key cornerstone within our strategy. It's at the center of everything we do. Our professional services on security go through the holistic protection of network, infrastructure, workplace, identity, data, application, and of course, industrial security. And on all of these topics, we have a connection with you guys, Joe, on VMware. So that was a quick wrap up. And now going back to you, Joe, what I did want to a little bit elaborate on is, of course, a lot of the hype today in the market in the cloud is around the 3 hyperscalers because they are showing hyper growth, let's say, outside of China. What I think would be interesting is to understand a little bit how you guys see your positioning and your cooperation or your co-opetition with the hyperscalers.
I always say that word co-opetition. It's an interesting one. I think for the hyperscalers, and here we're talking about obviously Microsoft, there was Azure, AWS, and Google.
Yes.
I think what we need to be seen here is what we're doing is simplifying and assisting clients on their journey into the cloud, as I talked about a little bit earlier on. People are going to find that they're not going to be using just one of those. They're going to be using elements from each of them. They might not build, they might build multi-cloud applications, so that's particularly rare at the moment. I think what people are doing is they're building different applications for their business in different clouds. And different clouds are going to have different services that are available to them they'll want to use. They may want to use one particular cloud because it has phenomenal AI built into it, for example. And they might use another cloud because it has huge data ingestion services or whatever that is. And that's why we need to work together to help our customers sort of assess which of those is important to them as they go forward and make sure it's easy for them to adopt and use that technology and integrate that with their existing systems. Our former CEO, Pat, always used to say that, the only reason God built the world in 7 days was because he didn't have any legacy. Our enterprise customers do have legacy. And so it's important that when they do that, they are taking advantage of cloud technologies whilst involving their existing systems of record and their existing applications as much as possible. So when we do talk to customers and our partners, it's all about multi-cloud management and selecting the right cloud and having consistency across public cloud, private cloud, on-premises, and importantly, edge. And and I know because we've been working on projects directly with you at T-Systems around Edge that the future of applications isn't all in the public cloud. The future of applications is highly distributed data, highly distributed compute, insights, where some things will be going on in the cloud and some things will be going on edge devices and some things will be going on in your hand as well. So, we need to help them assure things like we work with you to assure this SLA for end-to-end connectivity, securing end-to-end from the end user to application in any cloud. Those are the kind of things we're talking about here. So yes, you can use the hyperscalers. Yes, you can do anything you want in any of those. But we're going to make sure it's easy to operate and secure across all of those and deliver those to the application users in their hands. And last but not least, private cloud environments are still going to be there for a very long time to come. And, they're a core part of people's future mission because not everything's answered by the public cloud. As I said, it's going to be everywhere. And, we do help customers and partners build those best-in-class private cloud environments like FCI, the future cloud infrastructure of T-Systems. So, on T-Systems and, what we're doing in that space, while FCI is a really good example of what we've delivered value to clients as partners, and I'm very proud of what we've done together on FCI, what's your perspective on sort of the broader value proposition for T-Systems and VMware beyond FCI?
Yeah, thank you, Joe. I love this analogy of the 7 days without legacy, which probably is like what's going on with startups, right? That are cloud native. But the fact of the matter is that many of the larger clients today carry a legacy, and all of what you said is true, and that's why our value proposal is good. So coming back to your questions, listen, it's true. T-Systems and VMware, we're partners in the private cloud for a long time now, and the partnership has been super successful, as we discussed. And we're now extending the partnership to underpin T-Systems' hybrid cloud strategy with all of your capabilities, not only in the private cloud, but also in the public cloud and the edge. And as I said, our existing client base, but it applies for the majority of the companies of a certain size today, are predominantly on VMware. Our clients are moving on from being private cloud customers to being multi and hybrid cloud. So there is a journey here. Staying in the VMware ecosystem, for example, through replatforming from an on-premise or hosted VMware environment to VMC on AWS or on other hyperscalers, does provide an attractive path, as you explained. Those are areas that we will investigate, that we will talk to with our clients, and as technology will ramp up, as innovation will ramp up, there will be different ways of implementing that seamless journey around the VMware platforms. And we're excited to follow the different innovation areas that you will come out with, Joe, moving forward. And I think VMware's engineering power and tooling that comes with the ecosystem will also help with the workload migration and transformation. And there are many more examples where we jointly provide value to clients. For example, we have built some industry solutions in the healthcare market together. And of course, we have our so-called FCI platform, which is our, if you will, public cloud featured private cloud for our clients. And as we continue the discussions with our clients, what we see is that this is becoming more and more attractive. Most of our large clients, and you can think of Shell being one of the largest clients we have together, will embark fully on public cloud, but will also have a big journey on our FCI platform for a number of reasons that are specific to them, but that you will find in many other clients. So I think what we're seeing is that our clients appreciate the secure, stable, harmonized operations model across public, private, edge, on-premise that we can provide together. Now, Joe, let me pivot to another topic which I think is also going to be discussed throughout the day. You know that T is a big letter for us in Deutsche Telekom. It stands for a number of things, but for now we're going to talk about the T as trust. And data sovereignty, data privacy, security are in both of our companies' DNA, but also are becoming prime to anything that happens into the cloud journey. So I wanted a little bit to ask you to maybe major on what VMware's thoughts are on the security topic around this hybrid cloud journey.
Yeah, thanks for that, Francois. I think that the interesting thing here is that you're going to see us emerging more with our security credentials. We've not traditionally at VMware been known as a security company, but as I mentioned at the start, it's one of our 5 pillars is what we call intrinsic security. We've been providing comprehensive security solutions in areas of our products for many years, but we're now joining those up as solutions for customers. I mean, one of the proudest things I know is that we actually have our software running in nuclear submarines. So when you want to talk about mission critical, I think we've pretty much got there on that one. But really, when we think about security, we want to talk about this least privilege approach. And most people want to do that and to make sure that's the right things to do. However, we also introduced the concept very early on of what's now become cool and trendy of zero trust. Many years ago, we were talking about the fact of why do we need to manage your device in order to deliver applications securely to it? And I think that's been brought to the fore massively with the recent pandemic, as people have been picking up any device to hand as they go home and trying to connect with corporate environments. A lot of people hadn't taken that zero trust stance and really weren't thinking about how they would deliver applications to any device, and have had to suddenly do that with us very, very quickly. And we both learned a lot in that space. But we now talk about intrinsic security. And for us, what that means is building security into the platform such that it doesn't have to be thought about. Yes. A lot of security, and if I go and talk to CIOs and ask them, how many software vendors do you have, your operating system vendors do you have, they'll tell me they have maybe 2 or 3. If you ask them how many hardware vendors they have, they'll have maybe 2 or 3. And that goes on, network, et cetera, et cetera. Ask them how many security vendors they have, and it's like 150, 200, 300.
Very
and
true.
You go into most organizations. And you go into these organizations, and there's some security by diversity by having all those, but also if you have lots of those, there's lots of gaps between them where things can go wrong. And so for us, it's about building security intrinsically in rather than bolting it on afterwards. So what we're looking at and working with you and the acquisition of Carbon Black and other things means that with platforms like FCI, we now have one solution with security that's intrinsic to the system. That means right from the very fabric of the data center that this thing is running on, through the application, up through the development stack, all the way through the delivery application network, all the way out through the edge to the end devices, we're providing one security stack and one security solution that goes across all of those. And that's really important because it gives you that true end-to-end view. And when you're starting to talk about highly secure systems, having end-to-end views is very important. Having it that the users, even the developers, don't have to think about security because it's built into what they're developing on, makes it a lot easier. And, you know, a lot of this is built into our joint work that we're doing on GaiaX. And, you know, these are a major part of our response to the GaiaX principles, is talking about how security shouldn't be something that is thought about afterwards. It's built in, not bolted on. And that's very important because we live in a different world for security now. A lot of classic security principles were based around I call it like the castle. Everyone's inside the castle and we're all safe in here and it's got a big thick walls. There aren't castles anymore. Everyone's distributed. Everyone's living everywhere on any device. You need to think in this new world about how we deliver security differently. And, you know, GaiaX is a good example of how people are thinking about doing that.
Super. I really like the way you discuss this topic, Joe. We'll have a lot more during the day on security, but you mentioned something, and this will be probably the last question before we wrap it up. You talked about developers of apps. And listen, I think in this move to the public cloud, what we see is that there is a shift from traditional application development to cloud native, microservices, new architectures. And I wanted to ask you what your perspective on that shift is from a VMware point of view.
Yeah, definitely. I think people think cloud native means it runs in a public cloud, and that's not the case at all. Cloud native is a new way of building applications that's different to the sort of tightly coupled monolithic way that we built applications before. It's 12-factor, it's microservices, etc. And that can be done both in private cloud and in public cloud and at the edge. You can run containers at the edge. So for us, we're much more about freeing applications from particular infrastructure. We did that with virtual machines, and now we're freeing all apps from any infrastructure. And that means freeing apps from any particular cloud. And so that's providing independency to run anywhere. So you can do cloud native development anywhere you like. Through, you know, we're doing things in there like automating the delivery of containerized workloads and proactively managing applications in production, you know, offering self-service, making it easy for developers to come and fire up environments anywhere on any cloud and develop in the way that they want to. And then whilst they're doing all that, you know, usually if you talk to operations people about developers being able to develop anything anywhere, they look scared and start running away. For operations, we're doing the same thing. We're simplifying operations. We're centralizing management. We're allowing them to sort of govern, you know, Kubernetes clusters and applications across any cloud. So we're really sort of holding back to where we started with that any. It's enabling developers to develop anywhere and enabling operations to manage and secure those applications anywhere too. It's openness and choice is at the heart of what we're doing in our cloud native story. It shouldn't have to be just in a public cloud. It could be anywhere.
And I think, Joe, that those last statements are key about how the partnership with VMware will boost the hybrid cloud and also the public cloud, and also for the apps developers, which will then bring a lot of the value through microservices or new cloud native applications that will make our clients benefit and be able to disrupt and dislodge their competition. So listen, Joe, I think we should wrap it up here. I wanted to thank you for joining us. It's been a very insightful conversation, and be assured that in T-Systems we are really excited about the hybrid cloud journey with VMware at the center of it, enabling our clients to massively leverage the cloud possibilities. So thank you very much, Joe.
Well, and Francois, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to be on here this morning, and it's an honor to be here. I know from being here at 10 years at VMware and working closely with T-Systems, whenever I hear that we're going to be doing something with T-Systems or I'm going to be having a meeting with T-Systems, it excites me because I know I'm going to be meeting a bunch of friends and we're going to go and help customers actually do something meaningful and successful for them. So that end-to-end ecosystem for us is really important. And I really, truly, and we at VMware truly appreciate the partnership of T-Systems and everything that we're doing for our customers. So thank you.
Thank you, and see you on a customer discussion, Joe. Thank you very much.